Okay, and welcome to this short demo of ColorFX Pro 4, in which I will be showing you how I used ColorFX Pro for the all-new Nik plugin to get from this image to this image, a more popular kind of HDR, but it really isn't because it's made from a single JPEG file, so I got from one image to the other. And then in the tutorial I will also demo in the meantime some of the new striking features found in the ColorFX Pro 4 upgrade. So let's get started. I'll ditch this layer as it was only meant to give you a before and after view, and we'll get started on this image from an old abandoned house somewhere in Swedish Lapland. One of the advantages of all of the Nik plugins is that they can be run in Lightroom or Aperture as well as in Photoshop, depending on the plugin you have and the license type you have. And especially for ColorFX Pro, I would advise you to use Photoshop and the smart filtering capability found in Photoshop if you can, because it gives you the advantage, the big advantage of using smart objects and smart filters is that you can actually tweak the filter settings afterwards, after you're done. That's not possible in the Lightroom or Aperture version of the plugin. In those cases, if you want to change something afterwards, you have to re-edit the whole thing completely over again. So I will convert this image to a smart object by choosing Filter Convert to Smart Object, and then I will run Nik ColorFX Pro 4. Filter, Nik software, ColorFX Pro 4. Okay, it warns me that it's now running in smart filter mode, and we get the interface. I won't be showing all of the new features, as that you can easily find those in the Nik software website. I'll just be highlighting a couple as I go along here. There's a couple of new features, new filters over here. So I'll start out with the very popular Nik filter that was already present in ColorFX Pro 3, and that's the tonal contrast filter. And I will take a default. So one of the new things is that you actually have a link to a couple of filter presets here, and I will choose the balanced, the standard one with the balanced setting. So this already gives me a little bit more texture in the wood and in the grass and the paint, the peeling off paint. Okay, then I will take another filter. And that's actually a very important thing you hear me say. I will take another filter and I will layer it on top of the current one. This is for me the biggest new improvement in ColorFX Pro 4, as it allows me to stack filters on top of each other. In ColorFX Pro 3, if you wanted to apply multiple filters, you would have to click OK, return to the host application, run ColorFX Pro again, and so on, which was a very tedious process. Now in ColorFX Pro 4, you can just stack one on top of the other. There is no real limit as to how many you can stack on top of each other, as far as I know, and it really encourages you to experiment and to play. So I will use one of the lesser known, lesser used ones, and that's contrast color range. And to do that, I will click on the Add Filter button here and then choose Contrast Color Range. And one of the things I want to use this filter for is that I want to change the way the grass is being rendered. And so you have to look at this filter as a traditional filter. In traditional photography, if you wanted to darken a certain color, you would use a filter with a complementary color. So in this case, I want to darken the grass, so I will use a filter with a complementary color, and that's somewhere found in between blues and magentas here. You can immediately see what this does to the grass. It really gives it more pop and really makes the color shine. If you have the before and after. One disadvantage of applying this filter, however, is that the sky gets completely washed out. That's because this filter also lightens its own color, and that's the blues to cyans that we have over here, or the blues to magenta. So the sky, which is composed of these colors, will get lighter, and that's not something we want in this case. So okay, this has done very well for the grass, but the disadvantage of using this filter is that it will also lighten its own color. So anything that's in the blue area will get lightened by this filter. I don't want that, so I will be using a minus control point to make a mask, to mask the effect out of this region. So I just click on the minus control point, click on an image somewhere, or on a point somewhere within my image, drag the control point slider to encompass the whole region that has the sky, and in that circle the software will now automatically look for corresponding pixels of blue and will eliminate those, will mask those out from the overall effect. Sometimes you have to add another control point, like here in these clouds they have a little bit different tonality, so I will add another control point on here to enhance my selection. And as the sky also reflects onto the roof of the building here, I will put a third minus control point over here. So now I have the effect, the positive effect that I wanted on the grass, and I don't have the effect on the sky. Okay, that's cool. I will go to a third filter, and that's actually one of the new filters, and that's the dark contrasts filter, to give me that really grungy, gritty look. So one way of adding a filter is by clicking here on the Add Filter button and then choosing a filter, but there's a shorter way. If you just shift click on one of the filters, it also gets added to the stack, and you see that this filter really gives me the grungy and gritty, I would say almost HDR kind of look. Okay, I will just play a little bit with saturation over here, and all the rest of the sliders are fine with me. It also gives kind of a desaturated effect, which I really find going well with the weathered structure of this house. Finally, another effect that I will apply is the dark and lighten center, which functions like a classical vignette, but contrary to a classical vignette, it allows me not only to darken the borders, but also to in the same time to brighten up the center. Okay, there's maybe one thing missing. The whole image has become a little bit dark, so another new filter is the levels and curves, and that's actually a great addition, because normally I would now have to go to Photoshop to increase the levels, or go to Viveza or something, but now I can change all of that in the filter itself, in ColorFX Pro itself. So I just add another filter, and I can increase my levels a little bit. And also cool is that in these levels and curves, I have control points. So if I only want to lighten the house and the foreground, but I don't want to darken or lighten the looming sky, I can again use a minus control point, put it on the sky, and you see that the sky is preserved from getting too blown out or too lightened too much. I will add a final filter, and this time I will add the brilliance and warmth filter, because I still want to tweak a little bit the saturation. I will take out some of the saturation to give a more weathered look, and that's about it. I think. Okay. If you have a number of features stacked together and you think this is a combined effect that you would like to reapply one day to a different image, then it's a good idea to save all those effects or all those filters as a recipe. Hitting the Save Recipe button allows you to save all those filters and their combinations and settings as one global recipe. I will call mine haunted mansion. There you go. It's not really a mansion, but still. And I click on the OK button, and it gets added to all the other recipes, which you find on the left-hand side. And ColorFX is shipped with a couple of recipes, but the big fun, of course, is creating your own, and you can also import and export recipes and share them with other users as well. There's another new addition, and that's the image borders. But I could add image borders, which we have seen in SilverFX Pro already, SilverFX Pro 2. I could add an image border, but I won't be doing it here, and I will tell you why later on. I will click OK, and I will apply this effect to my image.